Ready to go? Welcome to tonight's meeting, Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. We're going to start our closed session at 5:30 p.m. Thank you for coming today. Janice, would you please take roll call?
Here. Here. Here.
Here. Okay, would we have any public comment before we go into closed session? On closed session? I guess we do not, so I guess we'll move into closed session. Thank you.
Mayor, if you could read item.
Oh, I'm sorry. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to government code 54956.9D2, potential case here. We have one potential case.
This item has facts known to potential plaintiffs. This topic item relates to a grievance filed by the Police Officers Association.
Okay. We have public comment on Zoom. Would you go ahead, please? Okay, do we have you on public comment? You're welcome to let us know what you're thinking. Not there?
There. I'm gonna tell her she's. No, she's not gonna do it.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. We'll go ahead and head to closed session. Thank you. Just going by the left again. Right, Jesse? Okay, we're going to reconvene to open session now. Would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay, I'd like to ask Josh to report out of closed session.
No report out, information received, direction given.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to do any close public comment on that now, Josh, regarding?
To be just in
We're
case.
good to go.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have an approval of the agenda, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
And first and second, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay, we have a 5-0 for approval of agenda. We don't have any presentations or announcements tonight, so let's open it up for public comment, please.
Gonna get yelled at again.
Okay. I feel I need to address something that's bothered me for many years. In the last couple of years, it's gotten much worse. What I want to discuss is Ione citizens living in the city limits versus Ione community citizens. I think most of us know that you have to live within the city limits to vote on city issues and elections. I personally wish that was different. I strongly feel if you have a 95640 zip code, you should be able to vote on Ione issues, just my opinion. I have many friends that live in the surrounding areas of Ione. Over the years, when they talk about Ione issues, I tell them to come to the city council meetings. Their response is, no, my voice doesn't count. They don't want to hear from me. This is so heartbreaking for me that they feel this way in this community. Under the Brown Act, public meetings must be open to the entire community. Any member of the public has the right to speak during public comment. The law does not restrict comment only to city residents. And the League of California Cities encourages all city officials to treat all community members respectfully, recognize regional impacts on decisions, welcome input from stakeholders beyond city limits, and avoid dismissing participation simply based on residency. Yet sadly, the last few years, I have read many times on social media from citizens living in Ione, including some past and present council members, respond to someone in the Ione community that is giving their comment or opinion on a matter and reply, your opinion doesn't matter. You don't have a say because you don't live in the city limits. This is an attempt to silence them, belittle them, and is extremely disrespectful. Many of these people have lived here for generations and have given countless hours of blood, sweat, and tears, volunteering, donating, selflessly working, coaching, fundraising, and more to our community. Plus, over the years, as people have moved into our community, their families assimilate into our community family to make a difference and to belong and become part of our Ione community. To treat any person in our Ione community like they don't matter is wrong. Yet I hear people complain that not enough people get involved and come to council meetings. Maybe they would if the council and citizens would open their arms with community inclusiveness and compassion, making this entire community of Ione feel valued and accepted. Here are some of the shining examples of our entire community coming together to make a difference. The entire community and county came together to support the Amador County Little League West and netted over $30,000 toward the lights for our kids on the Little League fields. Those Little League fields are what they are today because of our community. And how about the delicious crab feeds and dinners put on by volunteers to raise thousands of dollars that they put right back into our community? Or the awesome job Sam, Fabilla, and Jessica have done in a short time, networking an outstanding team involving a large community of people from many counties around. It's amazing. Community has made Ione what it is. Respect for one another will keep us moving forward. Size alone or city limits does not determine a community. Connection does. I am asking, please show respect to our entire community. Those living outside city limits may not be able to vote, but they are every bit as important to our community. It takes a community of volunteers, hard work, generosity, selflessness, collaboration, loving thy neighbor, and working together. this is
Yeah,
a part of our
seconds.
own community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have any more public comment?
Real quick, we talked about the water contract. So this is US Mine AWA that was not present for the last vote, so I made copies for you guys. So some of the comments that were made last time, I'm on the clock, so. Oh. Do I? Sure. You guys are killing my time though.
The same one I got.
So some of the comments that were made last time was that guy was saying, he could give you guys 250 gallons a minute, 24 hours a day. He had no contract. I can't find one anywhere. I've tried to request stuff. This is the contract between US Mine and AWA. It specifically says 75,300 gallons per day, and it could double in 10 years. So on the front page, I've highlighted the 75.3. On the second page, I'm showing you guys where he stated that in the meeting. But at the rate he was talking about, that would only take 5.02 hours to do that. So this 24 hours, the most I could see that they were actually giving the city of Ione was 157 gallons an hour. That was the highest on anything I could see that was recorded. And then, yeah, that was pretty much it on this. So I wanted to sort of make sure you guys had it, because it seems to me if you're going to vote on something, you should at least know what these guys have done behind the back so that you guys can talk about easements, because this deal was signed, I think it was March of 2025. You can see the last page, it was signed on March 21st. So I did a little more research on that because we've had more talk about water and stuff. I saw the soccer people were complaining in October of last year. Their water bill went from basically $4,000 a month to $16,000 in 1 month. When you look at that, the water line that was hooked up to do that hydrant, as soon as that happened, this is when that water went up about 4 times. So trying to look at that, Chief Mackey said when they hooked it up, he thought there was leaking lines, that was on a separate line. When you guys saw the soccer fields go through, the guy that's rehabbing the soccer field said that's not true, that all that water goes through the soccer fields and then it goes to the hydrant. So the soccer people were getting billed for that. And when you look at the company that hooked it up, I forgot the name, I have it in here somewhere, but that also tied in a line that went to US Mine. So whether US Mine took it or it was leaking, Jaeger did it, pressurized it. Then when they saw that there was a guy from the city that said the pressure's not strong enough, they shut that valve and then it worked. I also looked for the sprinklers that Chief Mackey said that they bought and there was a higher flow. I can find no purchase of any sprinklers that went out to that soccer field. So what I can see is the line comes through, goes to the soccer field, goes to the hydrant. There was a T that went to US Mine. And that's when they shut that back down, it seemed to get it back under control. So I think there's been some misnomers here. The other thing I noticed with Jaeger was they're fixing the line out there, but you guys aren't voting on that. They're billing per our city manager like $10,000 a month, so they're staying under the $15,000 that he's authorized to do for a year. But that bill is already up to $100,000.
You have
So-
30 seconds.
Okay, and I want to finish off with, the other thing I thought was sort of out of line is Stacy recused himself from the vote last year. And then Josh writes a letter in December to see if he can vote again and tries to soft pedal it like there's nothing in it for US Mine. I think that's just wrong. And I'd like to see you guys actually look at trying to hire a city manager full-time, because we're another $32,000 this month. We're not controlling expenses. I got 3 seconds left.
Jesse, we have Zoom? Okay, let's go with Zoom call, please. Yes. Oh, I did the same thing.
Hit this red button.
Yeah, I did that too. You gotta go back to reset. And
I had my hand up.
Mini Jesse.
Good evening.
Yes, I hit 4 hours. Somehow.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing like 3 times when you were recused.
Take
I'm gonna
away
listen
from
to you
them.
that long, Andy.
You take the remote control.
Thank you.
You keep the remote control, Joe.
Okay.
Watch Lord of the Rings.
You go for it, Andy.
I wasn't
Rick.
gonna say nothing tonight, but when newcomers come to town, we've been told and everybody knows that pipeline's blocked off. No water goes to the mine. I don't know how many times people went out there and looked at it, found and seen where it was blocked off, but we got people that think US Mine is getting water. They're not. And furthermore, people don't know the history of our Amador water. Do you know if it wouldn't have been for supervisors back in the old days that only got, their insurance, and they thought about the people of Amador County, they were going to sell it to a private company. And it almost went through, but the supervisors finally stopped it. It's been a long time ago, and everybody forgets about that. And I'm going to tell you right now, Amador Water did us a favor by keeping it, because they can keep the rate down. Nobody gets paid. All the money goes back in. If they would have sold it to an individual, it'd be like SMUD now. If you notice, if you read the paper and listen to the news, SMUD's bill's going way high because the new board is all getting paid. Most of them are getting 200, 300,000. And before it was just regular people doing it for $1 or $2. So I'm just saying thankful to the Amador Water. Anything they do, I'm all for them, because they're saving us money. If it would have went to a private company, it would probably been, your bill would have probably been about $200 or $300 a month right now, because private companies have a board and they all have to get paid. So people, all these newcomers come to this town and they know everything, but they got to go back and read the history. There's a lot of history. And if it had that pipeline was put in for US Mine, if it hadn't been for that pipeline put in, there wouldn't have been no water to the soccer fields. And we put in a new sprinkler system now, and it should cut way down on the water, I've been told. And if anybody uses a fire hydrant, they got to put a meter on it, or else you can get arrested. And so I thinking that the fire hydrant was running up the bill. No, it's because there was leaks, and those sprinklers just sprayed water and didn't do any good. So all I can say is newcomers come to town. I hate to say it. I love newcomers, but they all come to town, and within 3, 4, 5, 6 months or a year, they know the whole history. You have to go back and look at the history. But that pipeline has been told. Kenny stood up here and told you, and they took people out there and showed it. And so you know how things go. You just got to read the history. You got to go back and read the history, and you ask the old timers. All the old timers, what's left knows quite a bit of history of Ione. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. More public comment? Public comment, please.
Dave Livingstone, Wildflower, a newcomer. Andy, you insult a lot of people in this town when you use that word, newcomers. Well, let me ask you something, Andy. What if all the newcomers?
Hey, guys,
didn't-
hey, time out. This is public comment, okay? You can say all you want, but you're going to say it to us. You can refer to him.
The guys in the
But
corner.
we need to, he needs to be, obviously, and he needs, just.
You and others have talked about bringing this town together,
I've never said
and
that.
then us
Yes, I-
newcomers listen to this.
Sir, I'm asking you just to please do public comment and say whatever you'd like, and I understand anything you say is going to be heard.
I
okay?
am saying what I like.
Okay, I just don't want
Okay.
to argue, I don't want to
I'm-
argument.
And I also wonder how many of the newcomers are paying for the fire and police in this town?
I'm not here to debate,
That's
sir.
it.
I'm here to make comment. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mitzi, and I came in late, but I did have one thing to say about the water, that somebody acts like this is just happening now with that easement and everything. But I remember way back, like in 2017, the manager then went to US Mines, I thought, and gave them a proposal. The manager at that time and wanted 450,000 or whatever, and US Mines told them forget it. And up till that point, US Mind was paying for all the water at Howard Park, which they didn't have to do it. I remember because Howard Pipe, the pipe was cut off. Okay, so US Mine quit giving Howard Park the water for nothing because they went in and made a ridiculous thing about that easement. So what I'm saying is that easement is nothing new. They have been working on that for almost 10 years. My other comment is, I was going to say something about newcomers. It's, I came in late, I'm sorry. I can't remember my other thought, but like I said, the deal goes way back to 2017. I remember talking to John at that time because the water was cut off to the park, which US Mines was paying for all the water to the park. And then they made a ridiculous offer to US Mines. So of course they quit giving the water to US Mine, to the park. But Kenny can explain that better because I'm sure he remembers, because he's the only one I knew of that knew where the pipe was cut. So this has been going on forever. I don't know if that makes any difference, but it's not like it's just came over the last year or two. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitzi.
I'd like to say something. US Mine has that for generations. They, when the Grant owned it, they had an easement through it, and Owens, Illinois used to pay for all the water. And when Todd Wakely got here, he kept shutting a hydrant off real hard, quick, and it hammered the line. They kept breaking it about 8 or 9 times, and that's a fact. And that's why US Mine abandoned it, because it was broke umpteen times and they got tired of fixing it. And I helped Bobby fix a hydrant that used to be by the horse arena. There used to be a hydrant right there. And we took it out because it broke there. And it's blocked off right there where that hydrant over by the propane tank is. And US Mine said they'd put the water in because you would have been a fire marshal, the United States, California fire marshal, you would have had to pull them tanks out of there. And that's a fact. Thank you.
Hey, Jesse, do we have anybody on Zoom? I forgot to look back at you. I apologize. The caller on Zoom, you have the floor, please.
Good evening, it's Marcia Edick. I hope this is working. Can anybody confirm you can hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. It's a miracle. Good evening. I have comments in regard to the easement, which was a topic on the last agenda, and the votes of the 2 dissenting council members, which had nothing to do with any personal vendetta against Mr. Rhodes or US Mine. In fact, I don't recall Mr. Atlin even mentioning US Mine or Mr. Rhodes when he elaborated in great detail as to why he voted no. I recall he said Ione would not benefit in any way by approving this, and it could potentially have severe repercussions if approved. But regardless, there have been attempts to shame the only 2 city council members who truly have the best interests of this city at heart. The 2 who routinely question the goings-on when there is seemingly no benefit to us taxpayers, and calling out all these backdoor deals. There should have been 3 parties involved in the negotiation of this deal. The one who owns the property, Ione, the one who has the water that needs to be disposed of, AWA, and the one who wants the water, US Mine. But regardless, only 2 entities negotiated a deal and entered a written contract, and Ione officials had no input, even though it involves our property. Problematic with AWA. Okay, there goes the devil face over the screen twice. Problematic with AWA sending all of its backwash water to US Mine and eliminating Ione completely is that we have contracts to provide irrigation water to croplands for Jackson Rancheria and to the golf course. And at some point, we're not going to get any water from ARSA, which means we won't be able to meet those obligations. And what will happen? Lawsuits will be filed. So those two council members who voted against this easement and elimination of all AWA backwash water, we're looking ahead to the not too distant future of not being able to meet our obligations to these entities. Mr. Rhodes voluntarily recused himself from the discussion at the February 2025 meeting because he had a conflict. And that included the easement for AWA to or through Howard Park. But in preparation for this last meeting, at Mr. Rhodes' request, apparently, the city attorney sent a letter soliciting an opinion from the FPPC. So the question that I have is, what changed from February 2025 to February 2026? Why was it necessary to solicit an opinion when he had already recused himself once before? Contrary to the accusations, including those by our city manager, absolutely no development, commercial or residential, is being stalled by these two council members' no votes. The commercial property at Castle Oaks has been owned by the current developer for 20 years, and it's been sitting
You
there.
have 25 seconds.
5 seconds? Okay.
25.
Oh,
Now you
25.
have 15 seconds.
The developer supposedly has will serves with AWA and still hasn't done anything. So the argument that these council members have stalled anything is baloney.
Okay. your
Finally,
time is
I
up.
want to
Thank
say
you.
what's ironic is that many of the people who were up in arms over this easement
The time is up. Anybody else on Zoom? Just, okay, Mr. Caputo, would you like to speak?
I will be brief. Relative to recusal criteria, Josh, I believe you received a letter that is from the Fair Political Practices, which establishes precedent for what constitutes conflict of interest. And I think if you read that letter and share it with everybody here, you'll find that he's well within his rights to not recuse himself based on that letter from the Fair Political Practices.
Okay.
I'm gonna toss you. Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna toss these over to you, and if you could please.
Those
pass
of you who
them
don't know,
along
this
to
is
the
Justin
dais.
with wastewater.
Yeah, Justin, distribution 2 operator, treatment level 2 operator, water, grade 4 wastewater operator. I'm here tonight to. It's not a presentation. It's just public comment. I can talk, right? Give you guys an update. Yeah, I'm here to praise the new privately contracted mechanic for what he's done. You have in front of you Industrial Electric, a breakdown. They came here back in August when all the aerators were breaking down, right? We got down to 5 aerators broken, and they came out and charged us a couple $1,000, walked the pond plant all day, looking at all the aerators, and gave us this big breakdown of what it was going to cost, you know, and what it was going to be to fix them all. George asked how we could start cutting costs. I said, well, you probably should bring back in a mechanic. They went through with that. They brought in Joey. Joey did it in his first month. You could see in the warrants what it cost to have him here. It's public knowledge. It cost what? Good grief, man. There's some manners. All right. So anyways, he came aboard, and for 2% of what was quoted for having the work done, which is like $70,000 to $200,000, he's done it for 2% of that, and he did it by using bubble gum and duct tape to fix everything. Let's see, what's that? Yeah. So we appreciate that, Joey. Also here, we're dealing with a storm right now. That's why I'm kind of trying to rush through this. Joey's still in his gear right now. This is what, you could pass this out, please. This is what our headworks is supposed to look like. As I mentioned before, the headworks is not for the capacity of the town. It was built 60 years ago. This is what it looks like today during the storm. That's raw sewage getting ready to spill over right there. We were in a pinch, right? We had the trailer park community on Marlette that has over 100 units backing up because they got one line trying to get out on the main highway. And we have the trunk line from South Valley coming in and also the Castle Oaks neighborhood coming in. And so it starts to back up all the water, right? Our small headworks can't handle it. We have 3 pumps that aren't rated for that much capacity coming in. We had a green pump that we inherited, was broken, and we got a big quote. I'm going to share that in a minute. This is what it looks like in the trailer park. It's a really bad picture. Pass that along. Joey got in there and we got quoted $20,000 to fix this pump right here. He got in there yesterday during the emergency, and within an hour, he had it fixed and running. And right now it's off, and he's gonna go back when we're done with this and get it running again. Now the trailer park isn't backing up anymore. We have that pump saving the day. Again, Joey costing a fraction of what it would be to have contractors come in and do these things. He's doing. And here's the pack machine quote. Pass that down there with the what it costs. Circling back to capacity in my last 30 seconds, everyone's talking about this AWA pipeline. Here's a thought. I wish it would have gotten voted down. You guys can put a valve in.
30 seconds, Justin.
Yes, in the summer months, we'll take all that water, right? And in the event that AWA in 5 years, ARTS is out of the way, we say, hey, in the summer months, we get all the water we want. Winter months, I don't care if it's to US Mine or Timbuktu, go. Like, don't come our way because we're struggling right now. We've been all week and we're going to continue all week with this water. All right. All right, Joey, you can go back to work. Good job, Joey. Woo! Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming aboard.
Point of order.
Thank you, Justin. Loved your point of order.
That is a point of order.
Come on, man.
I order on the floor, Mr. Verinsky.
I deny your point of order. Let's continue.
Mr. Verinsky, he has to have a justification for denying.
State your reason. Just let her-
Justification is,
Let her state the reason before you.
the reason is,
No,
My reason.
She,
oh, yeah, okay, go. What's your reason? Okay.
City employee presentations do not fall under public comment. That should have been duly noticed on it. On it.
Okay,
That's a.
it's a,
Mr. Verinsky,
Justin, you keep it, everybody here knows what the facts are, okay? So let her do what she wants to do, okay?
wow.
Say what you want. You've made a point of order.
We call it a tantrum.
Excuse me, Mr. Rhodes?
We call it a tantrum.
Can't get in, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
Okay,
My point of order, if I'm not interrupted and the mayor refuses to keep decorum in the meeting. City staff giving a presentation does not fall under public comment. And you're aware of that.
Clarifying
Claims on that. So
question.
when,
Sorry, go ahead. I have a clarifying question I was going to ask. Go ahead, sorry.
we have made this point of order before. These items should be noticed on an agenda. So all people know to come here and hear your presentation.
okay, point of order has been made.
Continues to happen. Am I correct, Mr.
yes,
Verinsky?
said city business, city matters should be noticed on an
On the
agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tracy.
Okay, so noted. Mr. Councilmember Mitchell.
No, I just was pointing out that Justin's not a city employee, he's a contractor.
Yeah.
It falls city business. Right, Mr. Verinsky?
Best practice, we would like to have that on an agenda in the future, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Any more public comment?
Done with public comment.
Anybody on Zoom, Jesse? Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and close public comment. Okay. Information items, numeral I. Those are the building department reports. We have those, the fire department monthly reports and wastewater treatment operations reports. One thing I'd like to mention just briefly, I'd like to compliment Jesse Cruz, who's been doing our building department took over for our department, and I just want the folks here in Ione to know that she's just done an outstanding job. So I just like to compliment her on that and let me recognize her. Okay, on the consent calendar, we have that next. I'd like to have the warrants pulled myself tonight. And so
I also would like to pull the warrants.
okay. All right, so
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar and pull the warrants.
Second.
yeah, first and second, pull the warrants and approve the rest of the consent calendar.
Aye.
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 Opposed? All five of us are for aye, okay? When it comes to the warrants, I know we're all concerned about our legal fees, so I want to, yes, I'm concerned about them too, Councilman Atman. But I'd like to ask Josh to give us an update as to why the bill was such this month, please.
Just for the council and the public of whenever they're on the warrants, we want to make sure everyone's informed of where the charges are going. A couple things that have come up this past month. We've been getting a lot of record requests from different sources, some from the public, some from other government agencies that are ongoing and that we continue to respond to that are in compliance with our legal obligations and that we're cooperating with. But often these requests are not fully contemplated in the general municipal budget, and those are things that raise it above the amount where we would normally like to keep it. But when it's voluminous requests or requesting confidential information, that's where legal is going to be more involved, especially when public records requests like we've addressed are requesting detailed city attorney invoices. Those are always going to come back heavily redacted and at high cost. So just for the public, be aware of that. And those are items that we continue to respond to and was one source of the cost for an ongoing government investigation that we continue to produce record requests for. Another source was our threat of a lawsuit from a fellow council member, and we take those seriously. And that's something that legal also had to review and prepare for. So some of these items are exceptional that brought the bill above where we normally like it to be the last month. But those are items that those are not brought by council members or George or department heads, but are things that as a public agency, we have to comply with, we have to respond to. And that's just part of being a public agency, and that we have to respond to those requests and make sure that we protect the city and give the right legal advice as things come up. But those were not any of those matters we consider somewhat exceptional that weren't initiated by the council or staff.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Levine?
Well, I'm obviously going to address yours there first. The legal fees on this agenda are for the lawsuit that your firm brought against me. You also have in here, you reviewed the horse arena contract for $1,000. Labor and employment, general municipality, which you don't go into what that is, $20,000. Most of that.
A lot of those record requests, that's where those would appear.
And that is your right for transparency. That's the only thing that you have to find out what your government is doing. And you should not be shamed from asking for public records, period. So let's move on. The first one is Lou Yeager. It's a $30,000 bill. By now, Lou's got to be way above the $50,000 mark for this fiscal year.
That went out to bid and was approved by the council. We got 3 bids and that was approved by the council.
And Lou Yeager was the only one who responded?
No, we had 3 bids. We brought 3 bids to the council. He was a low bid. You not remember that?
No, Mr. Lee, I remember it, but the municipal code strictly says no individual contractor will exceed $50,000 in one fiscal year without a contract.
No, go ahead, ma'am. Please proceed. Please proceed.
It's in the Muni code.
Okay, please proceed, yeah.
So Lou Yeager is above $50,000 for this fiscal year.
I don't know. Like I said.
Well, you
that
should know,
contract
you're the
was
finance
6,000.
director for the city.
Yeah, I'm not the finance director.
It's in your job
I'm the
description,
city manager. Yes.
but you're the finance director as well.
Okay. Please proceed.
Thank you. So I would like to know what Lou Yeager has reached for this fiscal year. Take my time now. So we've got two city engineers. Will Dan's total, gosh, $8,900. And Weber Geo, $6,300. Do we need two city city engineers?
Wildan is focusing their attention on the tentative map for the Ringer Ranch project. And Wilbur Gio basically does the daily building inspections. Is that right, Jesse?
Well, no, I've looked at Weber Geo's invoices. They're doing more than that. The last thing, a downtown pedestrian crossing.
Yes.
What is that?
That's looking into the traffic safety of a crosswalk to get some lights. That's always been mentioned at a city council that we need some type of crosswalk light.
We do.
And so that is one of the things
So
that
he's
we
working
are
with
looking-
Caltrans on that?
Yes, he is.
It's nice to know that, but since I don't get any city updates, I
don't-
have to
anyway.
ask my questions here.
I don't give anybody city updates.
I'm done with that.
Aren't you going to ask me about Susan Peters?
She's not on the agenda. I sent you an email on Susan Peters and I'm expecting her contract along with all the rest of them.
Well, I think you'll be happy to know.
But it's not on the agenda, Mr. Lee, so we can move on.
Yes, he can.
Speak, George.
We'll speak to it.
Well, I think,
Absolutely.
I think you'll be happy to know.
This is planned.
Um,
Okay.
Can I speak?
Yes,
Mr.
you
Mayor?
you sure can, please. Hopefully uninterrupted.
Point of order. Josh, Susan Peters is not on the agenda.
Is now.
Address it briefly or save it for comments at the end.
Yes.
I'll address it briefly.
Yeah.
I think you'll be happy to know that she resigned today. Okay, and
Another one.
yeah, you could put another notch on your belt. Okay,
That's
all right.
Mr.
So I'm just saying,
Lee,
would I be able to speak without any interruption, please?
we have asked you for.
He's asking to speak uninterrupted, and you asked for that, and we try to give that to you. He deserves it too. So please, you can say what you want, but don't interrupt him.
Don't need to keep going. Go on.
We
Mr.
lost
Lee.
a very, very active and very competent planner today. She's going to be remaining until the end of the month. But she was very passionate about her work and she's well connected. She's a city planner for Sutter Creek and Jackson. And again, the city took another step backward because she had a lot of institutional knowledge, all the relationships, and she was integrally involved in the Ringer Ranch project and all the other things that was thrown to her by the Planning Commission. So again, we lost a very, very valuable asset today.
We simply wanted an RFP.
Well, again, I think you should be happy. She resigned.
I'm not saying I'm happy. We simply wanted you to follow the process of putting out an RFP. We asked you 3 times last year.
We were in the process of doing that.
We asked.
As you know, Ms. LaFane, it takes a lot of time in
a year
government.
and a
right?
half ago, George.
It takes a lot of time in government, as you know. As you know, Ms. LaFane, it takes a lot of time in government.
Speak one at a time, please.
Mr. Lee, we asked you a year and a half ago.
Yes. And we were in the process of doing it. But as you remind me all the time, Ms. LaFane, government takes time. It takes a long time to get things done.
I don't think I've
Okay.
ever said that.
Yes, you have,
But-
on many occasions. Do the right thing, and I'm trying to do the right thing, but the right thing takes time.
Doesn't take a year and a half.
Yeah, well, like I said, to some.
Okay, we'll continue this at the end. Okay,
Please.
thank you, sir.
I got a question on warrants, if I may. I'm also concerned with the city attorney. We're averaging $35,000 a month since Mayor Rhodes put in the safeguard in November. So it didn't work. I thought that Vice Mayor Maida had a good idea, which he somehow decided not to do, which was to look at the attorney and see if there's a way to get it down. I'm really tired of all the excuses we hear. First of all, it was the emails, then it was the PRAs, and then it was the phone calls, which reminds me, have I ever called you 108 times in a month, Mr. Vrinsky? No, I haven't.
That sounds high.
Yeah, it does sound high. I don't think I've called my bookie 108 times in a month. So, when people keep coming up here and making these wild statements, it doesn't help anything. I would like to see, as I suggested last year, we got to put a handle on that. And I think that we should suspend all attorney work except for the absolute necessity for a month or two and try and get it under control. I mean, we have to do something. We're already at 280. We're going to be at 400,000 by the end of the year and 500,000 last year. And just to put that in perspective, $30,000 would be, if we had a business that did 3 million in a month, that's $30,000 that we get in sales tax revenue. So $30,000 is a lot of money. I know there's a lot of work that's being done. I think a lot of it is the council's fault. A lot of it is also Brenner's fault, because they have admitted that they've taken direction from the mayor and they've taken direction from the city manager, and they're supposed to be taking direction from the city council. So I just like to see, get back on track, get back to the protocol manual, get back to your contract, take direction from the council, and hopefully we'll see this number come down.
Negotiate a retainer.
Okay, Councilmember.
Only to clarify, a lot of this comment.
Absolutely.
Not about PRAs, but also this ongoing investigation, which I don't want to get too detailed into, but it's been ongoing for a while, and there have been a lot of requests and time spent on that, and that came in and has taken some time.
Yeah, I want to mention it's pretty hard to put a moratorium on legal fees when we're currently being sued also. So, Mr. Councilmember Mitchell, would you like to comment? No, Vice Mayor Rhodes?
I just would say, we had a friend that passed away a while back, Jim Nevin. He came to every meeting for years and years. Will you shut up? And
Wow.
he would constantly get up and do
Wow.
public requests. And back then, it was over the budget. For 12 years, the budget was out of whack, and he constantly put in public requests. And back then, it was like $500 a month. What's it cost now when someone does a public request, roughly?
It really depends, but it could be at least an hour or two on a simple one, and that would be $250 an hour if we're spending an hour or two.
How much did Mr. Johnson's cost?
That was close to 1,500.
Yeah, it was around 1,500, 1,600.
How much does the city charge? The city can charge for PRA request. How much does the city charge?
Only for hard copies of what it takes to produce. Other than that, we're very limited in what we can charge for.
It was zero the last time I checked.
I'm not understanding.
We can charge for hard copies.
Oh, yes, but not staff time to produce and legal time.
No, we don't charge for staff time, but we have never charged, to my knowledge, for any PRA request, correct, Janice?
Unless they want hard copy.
Well, okay,
And most of them do not, when they find out there's a fee, no, I don't want it.
okay. I'm not, we won't get into that because that was discussed a couple of years ago. Okay, thank you. I don't even know where we're at now.
We're
on the warrant.
we're on the warrants, but I want to comment. I don't think Stacy's comment was appropriate, and I know he just told me he doesn't think it was either. Asked her to shut up. But I'd like the audience to know that sitting up here, it's nonstop. We hear things here that you don't hear, and
Point of order.
at some point it gets very difficult to even operate.
Point of order.
Go
This is
ahead, go ahead.
The agenda. This is not city.
State your
business.
point of order.
Can I say it again?
Move forward
Point of order to bring the discussion back to the agenda.
to the agenda.
Okay, let's do that.
Motion.
Move to approve the warrants.
I'll second.
We have first and second approve the warrants. All those in favor? Aye. Oppose?
No.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move on, folks. We have no public hearing. So we are up to the regular agenda. So the first item on the agenda will be the approval of update to park and recreation fee schedules.
There's been an update and that'll be presented by Andrew Bonham. Selena is out sick tonight.
Good evening. As you'll see in your staff report, this fee schedule went to Park and Recs and then came to City Council at your February 3rd meeting. Since then, the front desk position and myself met to figure out how we would charge the public. And so there were some items that were changed. Mostly what was changed is in the previous fee schedule, it had it listed as a percentage for your deposit, which is very confusing for the public and for the front desk. It's nice to know you can tell them exactly what their deposit would be. And then from a finance side, we know right now it's 820. Anytime we have to look up something or any check that's written 820, we know that's an EB Hall deposit or 500 is a arena deposit. So that was one of our biggest things. The other thing is we came up with some weekday rental amounts. So you could rent things by the hour. You didn't have to rent the whole amphitheater, and it left it open for Monday through Thursday for some hourly rentals. And a lot of it was also just confirming with the arena what is and isn't involved with your rental. And we also actually brought another employee, Jessie, in as someone from the outside to pretend that she was renting. So we can get an idea of someone who, you know, doesn't know the facilities like we do. And oh yeah, that automatically comes. So we used her as our sounding board of, okay, if I'm planning a birthday party, you know, what do I get? So those were most of the changes. And we did change the wording. I know there was regarding the haul-ins, the clinic haul-ins. Those weren't for clinics. Those are basically equine services haul-ins that we verified. Yeah, for teeth or the farrier, and that's no arena use. So we specified that on there, that it's for farriers, dentistry, chiropractic, et cetera. There's no, it's only the parking lot use. Because I think that was the one comment that was brought up. And the rest of it, I think is pretty self-explanatory. You can ask me, I may know.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense because you do have like Bo
Yeah,
just pulling in clients all day long and he wouldn't even pay $20.
yeah. So now we have them
He
actually,
wouldn't get a business license.
yeah, now you have to actually have your business license. Plus you also have $80 for all your
Yeah,
people
so
to
sures and, yeah,
chiropractic,
that's, yeah.
yeah, all that
Um,
type of thing. So not a full clinic like we discussed
And
before.
did you take the 30% off?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We had talked with Taylor regarding the 30% since it's just kind of resetting and we're not even sure what we have yet. We're like, we can readdress that maybe after
Yeah.
6 months or a year because there's not a lot of wiggle room right now with the smaller producers. So until you get the bigger
Yeah.
producers, it was like, and it's one more percentage that we'd have to figure out at the end and
Pain.
yeah. So we
Well,
figured to start,
You had, she had her barrel practice last Wednesday.
yeah. And
She only got 20 riders. And I know she paid the $100 and then she had to pay for Saddle Book.
yeah,
And so, and it was close, they were gone by like 20 after 7. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. The lights have been left on repeatedly. The following weekend, they were on from Sunday morning until Monday morning at 5:30 when I went to work.
the full arena lights.
Full arena.
Yeah.
Nobody was there. And then when I drove by on Wednesday, all the lights were still on.
Yeah. And I think they're going to be putting a timer on that.
Yeah.
Because I walk at night, so I know it, but some people have been there till like 10:30 at night. I know I drove in on a Sunday night.
These were-
That's-
these
that's-
were
Comments.
I'd like to stay on topic about the fees right now,
Okay,
not about the lights.
I'm just giving you a heads up. I apologize. Go ahead. Oh, I thought she was done.
Were you done?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
just answering questions. Yeah, sorry.
I'm done. I'll move on. That was. I just wanted to-
Councilman Allen, would you like to comment on the fees?
I would
On
not.
schedule, he would not. Councilman Mitchell,
No, I'm good.
Vice Mayor Rhodes,
I just say good job. I know you took a lot of work to do this and I agree with all of it.
Well, it was a
How about-
group effort on this part.
only comment I have is I'd like to thank Selena, and I also give a great shout out to our Parks and Rec Commission. I know they work very hard on this. So do we have anybody here would like to make some public comment on this?
And I don't know if it changed, but the original one that was published, I had a little concern in that
Yeah.
Evelyn Bishop on a 1-day rental with air conditioning, toilet, the whole bit and lights was cheaper than the arena. So I don't know if that's changed. I think the arena was like 1,800 and Evelyn Bishop was like 14. So it seemed like you're paying for 2 air conditioners and everything to run in Evelyn Bishop. Is the city making, either the city's not making enough on the hall or, you know, it just didn't seem to be in line for what our expenses were.
I think you're referring to the amphitheater, not the arena.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, so the amphitheater, that's based all on market, like if you wanted to do a wedding, they base that on market. EB Hall's not the prettiest place, but the amphitheater is. So it's all based on basically market costing to like have a wedding.
Okay, anybody else, public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment and we'll go ahead and entertain a motion, please.
I'll make a motion. We approve the updated fee schedule.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, ayes have it. Let's move on to the next number 2 item on the agenda. It's consideration adoption of revisions and updates to the city council protocol manual.
Can we do 3 before 2, or is it too late?
You could do a motion to change the order of the agenda if
Wait,
you.
staff can, I make a
Yeah.
motion that we do 3 before 2.
Second.
First and second, all those to move this 3 to 2. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Ayes have it. Okay, we're going to go to number 3. The authorize interim employment agreement and job posting for administrative analyst.
Sorry, Andrea. Should have told her first.
That'll be Andrea.
She probably went for a cup of tea.
Or drink.
If she's not ready, we can do it. I just.
That's a good idea, though. We'll give it a moment and see if she pops out. I'm sure she's quite ready. We just at the last minute, Andrea. Thank you. Dominic thought you would.
Okay. All right, so you'll see with the staff report here, basically we had a employee that went out on leave back in September. We had a contract for someone to come in and fill that position for the building / and some admin while they were out. That employee actually just gave notice that they're resigning, they won't be coming back. So that puts us in a really tight jam right now because we still need to have someone who covers those building and admin positions, projects that they were doing before. So what in the 25-26 budget, we had an administrative assistant position. That's the employee that left. The position is split 50-50 between the building department and the administration department. And that position was originally created in 2023 as an executive assistant, and then the title changed to administrative assistant. And it's kind of this title that doesn't really, it's just kind of keeps rolling forward. So what I'm suggesting is I would like to, since that person's on leave, I would like to advertise for a administrative analyst instead of an administrative assistant. Now, the budget for the 25-26 salary will not change. It won't go up. In fact, there'll be a little bit of cost savings because that executive assistant / administrative assistant is at a higher pay scale. So my request is we would like to sign an interim agreement with Jesse Upshaw, who is our current building department since the employee's been on leave, and then allow us to put out the actual administrative analyst position. Any
Okay,
questions?
council,
Sounds good.
comments?
I got a couple.
Sure.
So first of all, the part about Jesse is, why is that even coming to us? It didn't come to us before she was hired. So I have no problem with Jesse getting hired. I just don't even know why it's here.
Well, you can look at page 2 of the staff report is because she's at $14,502.
Page 2.
Do you not have page 2 in your agenda packet?
I think they might be missing
Oh.
some agenda documents.
Well, let me read you page
Yes,
2.
The vendor inquiry invoice, Andrea, that's what you're talking about right here?
This right here,
Yeah, we
the,
have that.
Charts?
yeah, the
Oh,
chart.
the charts, right.
That's not the are you referring to the contract?
I'm referring to the staff report.
Yeah, I'm just saying
He's
that,
asking, why is the contract coming to you? And I saying it's coming to you because it's at 14,000.
But it's not here. There's no contract here.
I know that.
Okay.
He's asking why we're even bringing it up to you guys. And I'm saying because we're at $14,000 and 15,000 is our limit.
but, right, I get that. But when did we get that one? We didn't get the first one, so why are we getting the second one is my question.
Because you're going to be over 15.
I know, but.
It's a new and extended
All right,
contract.
1500.
Now,
Gotcha.
now that it's gonna, she's gonna be over 15,000.
I got you. Thank you. That's explain that one. The other question I have is, so yeah, because she was under 15, she got hired. Now she's over 15, got to go to the council. Gotcha. Thank you.
Well, and the first one was a contract. This would be an interim employee.
She's
Okay.
taking on new duties.
Right. The other, second thing is, I think, do we have an administrative assistant right now? Do we have one at all?
What?
We don't have one, right?
Well,
Okay.
I'm not sure what the word
Do we have an administrative assistant at this time?
that was the employee that resigned.
Right, so we don't have one.
Correct.
Okay, I think that you've got administrative analysis and administrative assistant backwards. The administrative analysis is a higher qualified, higher paid person than an assistant. They do different things. They do, you can look up their job description, but they do different things. What I think is that you should switch those over. And so before you put it out to bid, because right now we don't have anyone, so we're not, if we had an administrative analysis, you couldn't change it because you would be giving them a pay cut, administrative assistant. So I'd like to see that changed to administrative assistant is what we need, not an analysis.
I'm going to disagree. And if you.
Can I
look
make a
at this-
comment?
Okay, hold on. You can afterwards. Now I've lost my train of thought. The analyst. So I think they all got switched around in the last couple of budgets.
Right.
There used to be low man on the totem pole was the assistant. And then we had analysis 1 and then analysis 2. And then all of a sudden analysis 1 went away and it just became an analysis. And now there's analysis 1. So there's some things in the salary schedule that.
Well, we never had an assistant until a couple years ago. Then they added executive assistant. So that's the one that's been the outlier for a couple years now.
Right, the 23-24 salary schedule, we have an administrative assistant at 57.
Correct, because that
Right.
was changed from an executive assistant in 22, 23.
But the administrative analysis 1 got paid more than the assistant.
Above that, though, is administrative analyst, and that's the position she's requesting. It's at
We don't-
53,000.
We don't need an administrative assistant.
Which is a higher
We
salary
don't need that.
than the administrative analyst. If you
Which-
look at the 25, 26
Which I'm
salary.
saying is incorrect. An assistant, an administrative assistant should not have a higher salary than an administrative analysis. Is all I'm saying, and I'll end it right there.
And I agree, and
Thank
that is a misnomer. It was an executive assistant that
Right.
was renamed to administrative.
So let's fix it now while we don't have one, is my point, was what I was trying to get at. But anyway,
That's the same thing I think I'm saying.
good, we're on the same page.
I think we're saying the same thing in different ways.
Councilmember LaFane, do you have any comments, please?
I have no comments.
No comments? Councilmember Mitchell,
None.
Vice Mayor,
Nope,
Rhodes.
good job.
I have no comment either. I would see if anybody out in public comment has something to say, please. I see there's no public comments, so we'll go ahead and entertain a motion on this, please. And the motion is to I lost it. There we go.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion to authorize interim employment agreement and job posting for administrative analysis.
Thank you, Stacy. You've got a first.
Second.
First and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Okay. Ayes have it. Thank you, Andrea. Good luck, Justin.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you, Jesse.
Now we're going to go to consideration adoption of revisions and updates to City Council Protocol Manual. So we'll start off with, I guess, Councilmember LaFave, would you like to?
This is staff.
Oh, staff report, please. Yes, okay.
I might take the podium. I've
Yes.
taken some notes from council members on this one.
Of course.
Jody? Jody?
Oh, yes.
I wanted to say something.
Yes, Janice. Janice has a comment she'd like to mention tonight regarding the protocol manual. Thank you.
Protocol manual. At the last meeting, Marcia Edict brought up that the protocol manual was on the March 16th, 2021 agenda for city council. And it was a redlined version, but it was not, at that time, it was continued. The council did not act on it. And she was unable to find the minutes that approved that meeting of March 16th. And I have a copy here if anybody's interested. But it was, they were approved and they were continued. So, and as far as I know, they were never brought back.
So basically what we're stating here is that protocol manual was never updated, has been floated around. So it was never updated, and that's what we're doing it currently now, because there was a rumor out there that we updated something that was recently updated. So Mr. Vrinsky, would you continue, please?
So we've went over a lot of this at the special meeting workshop. If you let me go through the same changes that were proposed there, and then what has changed since then based on feedback and further review, please feel free to stop me at any section to take any comments, but I can certainly briefly go through my staff report and then come back to any items of concern based on comments or revisions from the council. So it was an old document. I'm happy that we have an updated workable version now for the future that we can go in and update and amend it. Some of these are just form edits and consistency edits with the municipal code or current state law. Others are really trying to clarify some ambiguities and give further direction to staff and how council members can request agenda items and just policies for our internal operations. So the first change was just making a consistency edit in section 2.2, which is just consistency with the purchasing and bidding ordinance. Previously, it was at 5,000, 15,000 is consistent with the municipal code. In section 2.3, previously, it gave the mayor more authority in the setting of the agenda. I've altered that to where the city manager retains ultimate authority in consultation with the mayor. So that is something for the council to consider of how much authority the mayor has in final agenda decisions. In section 2.8, in our sections about city commissions and committees, before we didn't have very thorough provisions on the planning commission and how that was a distinct body from other city committees. From as long as I've come to understand that the Parks and Rec Committee and the Creek Committee are a little more citizen-led. But for Planning Commission, we consider that a very unique commission subject to all the state laws and regulations for planning and land use. So I want to be specific there about not making controversial statements or public statements about pending applications, making sure applicants get a fair hearing, that the city planner retains ultimate control over the agenda, and then how requests and study items are facilitated and ultimately brought to the city manager or the city council for authorization. In section 5.05, just clarifying that all council members, in addition to council members, city commissions and committees should use their city email account for public record purposes. To our provisions about conflicts of interest, to remind council members that it's a serious personal responsibility to review agendas and declare conflicts because of the potential liability to the individual. If there are concerns about other council members and conflicts, please bring that to our attention so we can evaluate that as soon as possible and protect the integrity of the city decision. But we also really want to make sure that council members just don't rely on my advice as the city attorney, because the ultimate say would come from the FPPC through a formal opinion. So we have some language in there as well that you can't rely on my advice to legally protect you if there's a potential conflict. Section 806 is something I would like us to come back to. This is the agenda policy for city council agenda item requests. Previously, council members had to submit a pretty detailed written request to have something put on the agenda. It's not strictly enforced because we're here to facilitate the agenda item requests of council to make sure that you can discuss those, but we also want to stay true to the manual and follow policy. I've relaxed that requirement a little bit. Just if you give us a written explanation of what you want the council to consider and the topic item and maybe an action you want the council to consider, that we would accept that. And at that point, it would go to the city manager to facilitate how best to include it on the agenda. That could be a resolution, ordinance. It could be a summary item so that we can get further direction from the council before we spend a lot of staff time on it. And we also, I don't want council members to feel pressure that your written request would be included in the agenda packet, because staff would have the ultimate responsibility to prepare a more thorough evaluation and review for the council. One thing I would like the council to consider is if this policy applies the same way to all council members, or if the mayor gets a little more leeway on setting or adding agenda items. That's something that we haven't been perfectly clear on. Right now, I have it proposed that it applies equally to all council members. So even agenda items requested by the mayor would require just a brief write-up of why you would like something to be included on the agenda. Moving on, Section 8.07 would update the city's template for staff reports. It would have who requested the item, who authorized it, and who prepared it. So if this change were adopted, we would go in and update the template, and that would be used going forward to give council and the public a clear idea of how the item originated, who ultimately authorized it, and who prepared the documents. And we think that might help clear up some confusion of who's responsible for which agenda item and how it originated. Section 8.08 updates our listing of agendas. It adds a general conflicts declaration at the beginning. We think this would encourage council members to review the agenda items in advance of each meeting and give everyone an opportunity to declare their conflicts at the beginning of the meeting. This is, just as a point of reference, this is a pretty standard inclusion, and some of our other agency clients have up near approval of the agenda or public comment is where it would be a general declaration of conflicts item. And please, again, if you have questions or concerns, bring that to us in advance of the meeting. So we can have enough time instead of doing an abundance of caution approach, which is typically what we would advise. If something is raised to us at the meeting, we would always advise, if you have any doubt, recuse yourself and don't participate. Chapter 10 is a new chapter on civility and decorum. Some of this is already expressed in other parts of the manual, in the code, and in the code of ethics that's attached as an exhibit. What's also added are provisions on social media, just to remind you of some of those First Amendment restrictions, like not muting or deleting comments, that potentially, if you're using Messenger and things like that, those could be public records if a request comes in. Trying to refrain from posting negative comments about city staff, and also putting disclaimers on your post that it's your own personal views and not the views of the city, so that that's clear and nothing is attributed to the city. We also added an appendix. Previously, in the version that I had, none of the appendices were included. So now you'll see 7 different appendices. We have the Code of Ethics. We have the Professional Code of Ethics from the International City County Management Association. And then we have the recent policy for use of city attorney and communications. We have the policy for closed session recording. We added Rosenberg's Rules of Order. There's the censure policy, and then there was also a travel and expense policy referenced. And so those are all included now. I will say that I reviewed the 2021 version of the protocol manual. That had a number of proposed revisions about the travel policy. So if that's something that you would like us to review and add into the manual, we can do that. So I want to make sure those changes that maybe a prior council thought were recommended were not forgotten, and that it's consistent with the appendix. So that's one item that I just looked at recently. So I'll take a further look at that to see if that's something we want integrated as well. Changes since the workshop to the role of the mayor in section 2.03. I added some language on just the mayor's role in guiding and facilitating the meeting, recognizing speakers before they're spoken to, and nothing establishes a time limit on council members' speaking time, but just giving, signaling that that's the mayor's job to recognize speakers and try to move the meeting along. Section 6.02, back to conflicts of interest. That just updated the section consistent with current state regulations. Often those criteria and the thresholds for what's a financial interest change and increase. So I updated that to just be a general explanation of the categories of the conflict and referring you to current FPPC regulations and guidance if there's a more detailed analysis needed. Added a provision on restrictions of confidential information, since that's something we deal with regularly, and potential penalties. That could be from closed session or privileged information. For section 8.07, development of the agenda, we had a comment from Councilmember Mitchell that all closed session items should be authorized by the city attorney. That's actually even included in the Brown Act for closed session items. So that one we would agree with, especially for litigation matters. There were some deadlines on when agenda materials need to be complete and when the agenda was posted. I removed those hard deadlines just as things come up. Some flexibility is needed, but the city manager, in coordination with the council, can always set those deadlines for staff. Always, the earlier those things are prepared and posted, the better. The idea of maintaining a list of all agenda item requests from council members, committees, commissions, members of the public, that was proposed. That duty would fall on the city manager or his or her designee. That way there would be a list to reference of all proposed agenda items, and the council could review that, refer to that for things that they might want to request on an agenda as something to be responsive to all your committees and citizens. Getting toward the end, I added some language on how items can be reconsidered. The main restriction there, it doesn't always have to be at the same meeting, but that request to reconsider an item that has already been considered or voted on needs to come from someone who's changing their vote. And that would be the direction for staff of how we don't repeat agenda items that have finality and votes haven't changed. But if it comes from the minority, or by the majority, then we would be able to place that on a future agenda. 8.11, parliamentary procedure, just to add that these are all rules to guide our meetings. Ultimately, the legal validity of your actions is going to be governed by what the actual action is at the council, whether that's a resolution, ordinance, or majority of the council. And then we included some more language and civility and decorum of not interrupting speakers, and just more explanation on what could potentially subject you personally or the city to liability if you go into matters like defamation and unprotected speech or interfering with approved contracts. That is to protect all council members in the city from potential liability and legal expenses if there's any confusion about what the council has voted on previously. So I will stop there. Take any feedback and questions, requested changes, and this can be a final version for adoption, or if there's further comments and changes, we can bring it back to you to memorialize a final version. But we appreciate the opportunity to get in the document and hopefully have a more workable current version. And it wasn't, I think we got out of here for about 6,000 or 7,000 by the end of it to get here. So it wasn't as long as we thought.
Okay, comments from the council, Councilmember LaFane? Questions, comments?
How come council members weren't allowed to submit their suggested changes?
Those would have been welcome at any time and encouraged. And can still happen at any time.
Okay. Yeah, I actually do have some.
Written comments are great.
I was going to make a suggestion on the roles of the mayor that during your 4-year term, you can serve as mayor and vice mayor once. And if it is your final year before your term is over and you have not served as the mayor, you are automatically appointed as the mayor. That gives everybody an opportunity to serve as mayor because there is more work involved. And it is our obligation to serve as the mayor. It should not be a revolving door between 2 council members. It should be evenly spread out. I know you don't agree with this, Mr. Lee, I can tell. But everybody should serve as mayor or vice mayor.
Too bad she shut you down last time, huh?
Did we get that one on tape? So you said you changed the agenda to where it wasn't decided what agenda items were placed on the agenda by the mayor. himself.
Final say, yeah.
Well, you are aware of case law that you tread on First Amendment rights there with an elected official being able to perform their duties.
Is it agenda setting and all
Well,
our
I'm
review is.
Just saying there's some warning if you get a biased mayor
Okay.
and he blocks certain council members. That's a warning.
Well, this proposed change transfers more of it to the city manager away from the mayor.
Well, so the city manager is going to have the
The city manager
decision?
would have the final say. He prepares the agenda in consultation with the mayor.
Okay. And do they provide a justification and reason? Or they just say, we don't like it? I'd like a written justification as to why they would decline an agenda item.
Okay, that would be, all right, well, let's go
Be
to
fair.
8.06 at some point, because we would just follow, they would be instructed to follow the policy for council member requests. So if one person submits it, time permitting, that should be scheduled at some point. If 2 council members request it,
Priority.
prioritized to the extent possible. Sometimes we just need time to prepare and it can't always go on the next meeting, but that,
So all of you keep saying we, so all of this is going to go to you?
no, this is the manual for staff of how staff and council members of
Okay.
the agreed upon rules.
But you say in one of these that the agendas will go to the city attorney, or the agenda requests will go to the city attorney and the city manager.
No. Closed session items would have to be approved by the city.
Closed session, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that.
And the agenda subject to advice by the city attorney. If sometimes things should maybe be in closed session, sometimes it,
But something general, city manager doesn't have to refer to you at all, correct?
no,
And he's not?
no.
Okay. I would just like to see equality across the board at every turn. I would also like on the agenda template, which I don't know if you took it off, the fiscal impact on every single staff report.
No, that should always be on there.
It should always be on there.
Yeah.
Like for you doing this, we didn't get a fiscal impact on the staff report of how much it would cost. So we couldn't make a decision because we didn't know how much it costs. So given the financial situation we're in, I'd like to see a fiscal impact, even an estimated one on everything that comes before this council. That's all I have on the policy manual. And obviously with the comment that the vice mayor just made, my thoughts on rotating the mayor position, I would like to see that. I'd like to see it fair and across the board.
For all changes that we're doing now, I would just look for consensus among the council of if that's something you would like us to integrate further.
Vote on it, or what are you gonna do?
We'll take notes on proposed changes and if once there's consensus on the ones that the council agreed to, and if they want to adopt them, then we'll take a motion on it. But for now, I think we can get through all comments and come back to a final motion.
Okay, Councilman Bratland.
Yes, first of all, as I said, I think this was a waste of money, waste of taxpayers' money. Everything works when you have an inclusive mayor. Everything works when you have a city attorney that takes direction from the council. When that doesn't happen, that's when you start getting PRAs. That's when costs go up. What I'd like to see put into the protocol manual is if, I just worded it this way, but it could be worded better. If the mayor unduly influences, because we all agree that we have no more power than anyone else. We've all agreed to that already in the protocol manual. But if the mayor then uses his position as mayor to be a strong mayor, then he gets a warning. Hey, you're one person, same as everyone else. And he gets coached because maybe he's a new mayor and he doesn't know. But if it happens again, then he gets replaced by the vice mayor. You can't, because that's twice that the mayor, if that were to happen, would be not following what he's agreed to follow. Like nobody here should be going to you or to George and saying, this is what I want done, and you guys doing it. That should never happen. So I'd like to see a safeguard on that. I'd also like to make sure that, and you touched on this, is that the mayor follows Rosenberg's rules of order. And if he doesn't, he gets a warning and you take him in the back and you go over the Rosenberg's rules of order for 5 minutes. And you say, look, you've got to follow this. He's already agreed. These are things that the mayor's already agreed to. But when you have a mayor that doesn't follow the rules or isn't an inclusive mayor, where in my time on the council, just about every mayor, if you want something on the agenda, it gets on the agenda. There's never a problem. So we don't have to have all these rules as long as it's staff time can accommodate, so on and so forth. So I'd like to see something about that we are going to follow Rosenberg's rules of order. We are, or we're not going to follow Rosenberg's rules of order, whatever the majority wants. So I think that needs to happen. I think it's been going a lot better in the last 2 months, by the way. So people are being recognized when they have a point of order. That's good. I'd like to see the agendas out by Thursday at 5 o'clock, which is one day earlier. Now, sometimes that isn't going to happen. I get that, but they should try. I mean, basically, whatever you get on a Friday makes it into the next meeting. I don't see why it's so hard. So you got a deadline, and maybe the deadline's Wednesday. So whatever you get on a Thursday and Friday goes in the next meeting. Nobody's mad at anyone. Nobody's saying you're holding it up or whatever, but that's the cutoff. If someone comes up to you on a Thursday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you tell them, whoever it is, developer, whoever, it's not going to make it on Tuesday's agenda. It will be in 2 weeks' time. I don't think that's hard to do. And it gives everybody time to read the agenda on a Thursday. Maybe they can make an appointment and talk with the staff on a Friday. And then they got the weekend to digest whatever they're told. Currently, you get it Friday, the weekends, everyone's closed. Then you have a holiday on a Monday. You don't really have any time. Special meetings was another one. Like we had 24 last year. There has to be a rule on special meetings. You shouldn't be able to call a special meeting because you can get off work anytime you want, and not everybody else can. So there needs to be a reason for it. Like if it's an emergency, I get it. Well, that's an emergency meeting. But to have a special meeting for the sake of having special meetings is a waste of time, and it's a waste of our money. And you got to be here twice as many times. So I don't see why that would be a problem. Put a rule on the special meetings. They got to be special, not something that you could have done at the next meeting or something that could have waited 2 weeks. No, it's got to be something that's super important that can't wait. I think that's it. I'm not in favor of restricting council comments. because you know how much I like to hear my voice, so.
No restrictions.
That was a joke, by the way. Yeah, it's the only chance we get to talk, and it's the only chance we get to talk in front of the other council members and the staff. So I think if they have, hopefully, if the agendas come out quicker, they can get most of their problems.
Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I am done, actually. So, yeah, just, I think the Thursday thing would be good. So, and I agree. I think everybody should be the mayor, okay, at one time. I don't know about the vice mayor, but, you know, everybody should get a shot at being the mayor.
Too bad did they?
At least, at least offer. Yeah, there's a reason for that, because Jack was a rookie only in 2 years, and I didn't think he was going to be a good mayor at that time. So, and I was, hey, I was vice mayor 4 times and I never got the mayor job, but nobody's hearing me cry. So, but everybody should get a chance to be the mayor. It's kind of a big deal, and it's more work, and it shouldn't be one person's will. It should be like, we should have a variety of whatever people think they want. So I agree with that about the rotating mayor thing. That's
Okay.
it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Councilmember Mitchell, on that note.
I disagree with everyone should be mayor. It's 5 people up here, 5 council members. They vote who should be mayor, who should be vice mayor. I knew when it was my time was coming up and it was voted and I was voted out. I don't think I cried or said anything, and it was fine. We moved on and we had a fine mayor and a fine vice mayor. When it came time this time around, I thought Jody did a great, excellent job as a vice mayor. Vice mayor typically moves up to mayor, and we did that. And I think he's doing a fine job. I think you also got to look at who's coming in the election. Sometimes this election, 3 of us could be gone, and it's going to be nice knowing someone has some sort of continuation and some thought, so that when it comes around to be mayor next time, it may not be someone that's completely a rookie. So that's where I stand on that. I think that's all I got right now.
Vice Mayor Rhodes.
I'd just like to say, this is going to go on for hours, and it's a lot to actually digest. I think, and you brought up that we should all put it in writing. I think we should all table it, bring it back. We'll all give you written emails of what we think we would like to change, what we would like, and come back, because this is I'm going to tell you, this is going to take forever. And the one point that most people, you're going to drop your jaw, Dominic. I agree with him on this, bringing out the agenda on a Thursday. However, I have worked in here for like half a year and watched what happens. It's impossible sometimes for staff to do this. It takes a lot of work to do this. The only way you could do it is to do the agenda and then have a whole week for them to do it and do it the next meeting, but things would take too long to do it that way. It's just how it works. It's very hard for these people to put a agenda together. Trust me, I've seen it. So, but to my point, I would like to.
Sometimes things come up on the Friday and we try to get it in there for the Tuesday, but.
I'd like to piggyback on Stacy as far as, well, I agree we should table it also. I have a comment I want to make. But this is, I witness on a almost daily basis here in City Hall, which the staff we have is absolutely amazing, and they come through for us. But it's not easy. And I'm like what Dominic said, I'd like to see it out even earlier if possible. If nothing else, the rough draft, a really good, strong rough draft, and then put it together. Because I know this last Friday it was 4 o'clock, and we were still waiting and it wasn't Josh's fault, but we were still waiting for information from our attorney. But I'd like us all try to really make a conscious effort to try to make it as easy as our staff and get this in quickly so they can do their work and actually have a life at night. And I also about tabling it, but one thing, we had a little issue recently regarding a little email regarding a public service statement. And I'd like to see what actually make sure that it doesn't constitute a Brown Act violation if we're all on that same hill when it's about public service.
Safety.
Public safety, I mean, because I don't see how that would be considered a Brown Act violation if it's regarding public safety, because it could be important that all of us know this at one point. So I'd like you to research that for me, please. So we can,
Been doing that for years.
okay, thank you. And so that's where I stand on that.
That make a motion, we table it.
Or
I don't think we need to table it because it says,
Continue.
it says it could be continued, so
Continue it as.
I think continue it is.
Continue it is what I meant to say.
take public comment on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to public comment first and then we'll do that.
Couple things that I would like to see in there is when we're having meetings, if you guys could put your cell phones down, put them face down. I don't care if you have them on or not, but it's really rude when you have guests coming in or we're talking. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but our city manager was just on his phone for about 10 minutes while you guys were talking, while Josh was reading that. If teenagers can't do it while they're driving, I would just hope you guys could do that for a 2-hour meeting. At least act like you're listening to us. You don't have to ignore us and look at your cell phone screen. The other thing is, if you are putting in a travel policy, I would recommend, maybe 120 miles away, if you're going to do meals, make sure the city does not pay for alcohol. If you're expensing alcohol in the meal, the city can be held liable if you got in an accident or something. So my company's always had a travel policy, and it was like 120 miles, and you got to watch food. You can't be reimbursing people for alcohol. That could open you up for a liability lawsuit.
Tonight, you've just given the attorney a bunch more stuff to do, and then you're wondering why he's expensive and he's charging what he is. Early, Allison said, and I do agree with Allison, she said that people had the right to get information and documentation on things they wanted, but that all costs money. I mean, so you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want to cut expenses, you have to be able to cut back on what he's doing. You've tonight told him 3 different things that you want him to do. The other thing is, I don't understand what good this is, because there really aren't any consequences for anyone's behavior when they break the rules regarding negative behavior and the outbursts. I have something right here. Okay, this is on the rules. In the meeting run under Rosenberg's rules, the mayor or chair presides. The mayor recognizes members before they speak. A council member must typically raise their hand or signal and wait to be acknowledged. That's never done. Everybody just speaks out. No council member is supposed to speak without being recognized by the mayor or the chair. I am so frustrated. I had one other, the big deal. The mayor thing about everybody taking a turn is a joke. When it was Jack's turn to be mayor, when he was vice mayor, and all the meetings I've been to in the last 30, 40 years, always the vice mayor went to mayor. Shaking your head, Dominic. You said you did not choose him because he wasn't qualified. Allison was more qualified to become mayor than Jack was. She had no more time than he had, and the three people, they appointed Allison. At that time, it should have been Jack's turn. So you guys saying everybody has to be a mayor is a joke, because you missed it with Jack on purpose. You did not vote him in. You voted Allison in to be mayor, and you're saying the reason why you didn't do Jack is because he was a newbie. Well, so was Allison. So I think to even waste the attorney's time on that is ridiculous. Thank you for your time.
Could have been the mayor last.
More public comment? Okay, Mr. Caputo.
Run. You're done.
You're making some good strides there, though. You're getting quicker.
That'd be right. So I'd like to say, guys, if you want to be on your phones, I don't give a damn. As long as you're paying attention, as long as you know what's going on here, I don't care what you do with those phones. But I will say this. If you want to take the mayor in when he's not following Rosenberg's rules of orders, have the city attorney take him in the back room and give him a little coaching job, then every time one of you people gets out of line, which you do a lot, you need to have the same type of training. It takes each one of you council people in the back room and teach you about how to be in order, how to quit picking at things, how to quit trying to start a fight and interrupting people. It's no different than when the mayor doesn't follow it, since you're all the same.
Thank you, Mr. Caputo. Jesse, we got someone on Zoom. Thank you. You're on Zoom. You're ready to speak, please. Thank you.
Hello, Marcia Edick again. First of all, I want to thank you, Janice, for looking into those missing minutes. I will email you and request a copy if you could kindly send them to me. And if there's a fee involved, of course, I'll happily pay it. But at least now we know that that protocol manual, which was worked on in 2021, did not get approved for whatever reason. But something that was not addressed is the reasoning behind starting from scratch. And I guess this question goes to Josh on revising the 2008 protocol manual, as opposed to the one which had already been started in 2021. Heavily redacted. We had work in progress. And instead of picking up on that project that was already in the works and could have saved some legal fees and continuing to perfect it, the whole thing was scrapped. And the White Brenner law firm decided to start over with an entirely new version and just discard everything that had been done in 2021. So that's kind of money down the drain from two standpoints. Although I guess we have an abundance of money just laying around, right? What Ione paid to the previous city attorney for all their work done to revise the same 2008 protocol manual in 2021, but that didn't even get worked on. It wasn't even considered, apparently, and it was scrapped and White Brenner started over. So basically we paid the previous city attorney for their work in 2021, and now we're getting to pay for it again. Now, I realize Mr. Verensky indicated, oh, it's probably better than we expected. It's only maybe $6,000 or $7,000. Well, that's $6,000 or $7,000 that could have been happily spent someplace else. But I realize that the law firm benefits from doing it this way. And Mr. Mayor, I have a question respectfully. There was no open public comment on the warrants. And I am asking if there's an opportunity for me to have a comment on that, or is it too late?
I don't believe.
It wasn't
I
open to
believe I
public
did
comment,
ask for
so-
open comments on the warrants. Public comment, I mean, on warrants.
Right. Would it be okay
I
if I
believe I
touch on
did.
that briefly or no?
I believe I did do that. If I didn't, you will bring that up at the next meeting, but I believe I did. We can look at the video.
Yeah, I had my hand raised, but when I was communicating, is it Jessie? I hope I said her name right. Yeah, she said it wasn't open for public comment. So
It was not open for public comment. Okay, it wasn't open for public comment. Well, I assume, let's go ahead and let you, we're not at that topic right now, so I'm not.
would you
gonna-
like me to wait until the next meeting then?
No, you can bring it up next meeting. I'm sure we'll see you here. Hopefully you can come in next time and bring it up.
All right, I will do that. So I don't have any other comments on the protocol manual, although I'm
Yeah,
just
30
disturbed.
seconds, by the way, also.
All right, I'm just disturbed by the fact that, you know, the money that we spent in 2021 is kind of down the drain. And here we're spending another $6,000 or $7,000 starting over from scratch. So again, thank you, Janice, and I will email you for a copy of those minutes. That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
If I can respond to a couple of those.
yes, please, Josh.
I did look at the 2021 red lines, Miss Edick, and they were not substantial. There were just a couple sections on city manager evaluations and the travel policy. So that did not seem like a comprehensive revision to base the updated version on, but please look at it for yourself. And if those revisions can be included, we're happy to do that. But that was not a comprehensive update and seemed to only have a couple specific revisions included.
Okay, so comment anymore, Jesse? We have one coming to the podium, if not. Go ahead.
Again, complaining about all the money spent, and now all these suggestions are going to go to our attorney. Why can't all the suggestions go to the city staff and be discussed and put together and then looked over by the attorney after, instead of hours and hours of facilitation? Also, as far as travel expenses and the 3 days at the mayor conference, every mayor has went to a conference. Every mayor has gotten the travel. That Jody stayed the night, one night. He drove down there for 3 nights and 3 days and wasn't paid. And your insinuation, I take very much offense of, you keep bringing up the alcohol. There was not alcohol.
Public comment.
Yeah, but.
No, no debating, no debating.
I'm sorry.
Give your comment.
On Facebook, and here he has pointed out, throws in the little alcohol. It's always these little seeds about stuff.
That's a lie, Dave.
And so I'm talking.
Sorry,
And I wish my comment is fine. I'm up at the podium.
I was out of line. Go ahead, comment.
Again, Rosenberg rules that you have to be called on to speak. You cannot speak out of turn to people constantly during the whole thing. People have to wait to be spoken to. And if those people that are always saying Rosenberg rules, and no one else follows it, they're not following it. And I agree with Mitzi. The reason why there's no consequences for not following Rosenberg rules. There's no consequences. You have to do at the lowest level, then you have to do this. If there was consequences when somebody spoke out when not being allowed to, they would do kind of like Stacy did that time, and do timeouts. They would do something so that person didn't keep talking, or someone else didn't keep talking. There needs to be consequences. Nothing, a mother, in any job you work, the only thing that changes behavior is consequences, and there are none. That's why this is such a shit show a lot of times.
See what she said about even the Brown Act. There's never been anybody prosecuted over the Brown Act that I know of. But the thing is, there's people, when you had a special meeting here, somebody gets up and gets mad at 2 lawyers because you didn't say what you want. He steps out of the room, didn't ask nobody, and hollers and slams the door. And that was perfectly okay.
No, there's no debating.
That's perfectly okay. And then another person, last meeting, gets up behind you and stands, which you ain't supposed to do. And that's totally wrong. And here they want all these rules and regulations.
Mr.
It's
Mayor,
already
I
written
am
in there.
moving now, Mr. Mayor, because this is nothing but an.
Hey, you're
impactful-
interrupting again, man.
Speaking right now, if you leave it again, you're not, you're supposed to ask for
Exactly
permission
what
to
I said.
leave this meeting, and you
Hey, Mr. Mayor.
have a history of this. I'm saying, no, you may not.
History?
You know,
Him.
You've refused to come to, closed sessions afterwards because, I'm not gonna get into it with her. No, you may not leave.
I'd like to bring up too, I think this mayor thing about pointing who the mayor, it ought to be the 5 people. And for years, the man sitting right there had 3 votes for years. And you're gonna interrupt me too?
Yeah, you gotta be polite and respectful when you're talking.
Let's get control, please. I am trying to get control of this meeting, please. And let's just all take a breath here, please. Mr. Rhodes, say what you wish, please, but no debating, okay, guys?
But anyway, I'd just like to say that 5 people ought to vote for the mayor. It shouldn't be just whoever they want. Thank you.
Okay, Andy.
Who wanted the attorney to do these rules?
Not me.
I don't know about, well, I guess you
Yeah,
didn't,
no.
but you know, these rules, like everybody says, you know, you can't do nothing.
Continue, please.
You know, these rules, you can't do anything. And you know, it's been so hard. Everybody says the attorney charges this, the attorney charges this. Well, everybody wanted him to do the rules. It's gonna cost money. If you call him on the phone, it's gonna cost money. I don't know where everybody figures that we have an attorney and he's supposed to work for free. I know actually an attorney now charges probably $400 an hour, $300 an hour. I don't know what he charges. And everybody goes on about he's charging for this and that. Well, call his firm and tell him you'll pay to have a write-out to tell you what he is charging for. I mean, there's no big deal. Everybody goes, I know Allison and Dominic goes on what he's charging, but then you ask him to do something, it's not free. You know, so I wish you guys would wake up and quit your damn fighting. I know Allison, she's just, poor mayor, he can't even say a word without you, and you know it. Don't argue.
Called a point of order.
No, I'm not. I'm just telling you about these rules. I'm just telling you the attorney doesn't work for nothing. You know? And thank God we only got 10 months left of some of the people on the city council. Thank you.
All right. Justin, and hopefully we're getting close to this.
I just want to say, Josh, good job speaking tonight. I appreciate you. I think as a wastewater operator, you've called me for issues in the past to get thorough information.
Guys, I have to say something, guys. We're off topic completely. We're supposed to be on this other topic. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Anybody on? Okay. All right, reports and communications from city attorney.
Oh, do we get a motion to continue subject to further
yeah.
comments from the council?
I'll make a motion, we continue.
Second.
We have a first and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I didn't hear Councilmember LaFane. I'm not, what was aye?
You said aye.
Okay, we have a 5 ayes. Thank you. All in favor. All right, let's move on now. Reports and communications from our city attorney.
None from me.
Nothing from Josh. Okay, city manager, we have any reports or communications?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we did get a letter from the food bank thanking us for our participation in the food bank drive. So they extend a very warm thank you to all the council members. Next, March 4th at 2 o'clock, we do have a Citizens Advisory Council meeting for the Mule Creek State Prison here in Campbell Chamber Council in March 4th at 2 p.m.
Okay.
Then we also have a meet and greet for Senator Gill on February 24th at 2 p.m. So that's for the public.
Okay, thank you. Reports and communications from
I forgot, one of the items that came up last time was to raise my limit to 50,000 from 15. So if I could make that request.
Council.
I was going to put that in my request.
Okay, if that could come from a council member comments for future agenda items.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have on the next agenda, correct? Is that how we're going to do this?
If we go to council comments and the council.
Okay. Council comments. You done, Mr. Lee? Okay, council comments. Councilmember LaFane.
I would like to bring back the city attorney's contract. I sent an email to Mr. Lee this morning that apparently we had 2 contracts. I don't recall the second contract ever being put on an agenda. There needs to be just some discussion over those contracts. I don't recall.
It's a simple explanation.
No, I don't want your explanation because I would like it put on the agenda for discussion amongst the council. The one contract was put in under a consent calendar. The other one was put in under a resolution. They don't match. There's discrepancies. And the 2024 council did not want an attorney that did not take a retainer. And that's the agreement that was put under a consent calendar. So that needs to be talked about. I would like to have an update on where Lou Yeager is at. And I would like, it's been about a year, more than a year, I think, since we've seen all of the city contracts. And one last thing, sorry. We used to get multiple reports at our council meetings from the accounting department. We would get a list of monthly revenues. We would get a P&L. I don't know if you have that currently, but it would give us a lot more information to be able to make some decisions if we saw where the money was, or at least the monthly revenues.
Okay. Councilmember Atlan.
I sent a few things up last week to get, I'm just still don't know how to get anything on the agenda. So I think a couple of things I wanted to discuss. I don't know if they're closed session or not, so I'm not going to mention them here, but I did send some items to get put on the agenda and they're not on the agenda. So when will I likely, do I have to submit them again or how do I get something on the agenda? I mean,
He's able to contact city manager.
I sent them to George, so
I think you have to have a second
I
person.
had a second.
Okay, well
Send
then,
me a second. But you can't say, you cannot say someone seconds it. She
Okay.
has to send me a second.
Okay, okay,
That's new.
all right. I will resubmit them.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Jack, Mr. Mitchell,
I've got nothing.
Vice Mayor Rhodes.
Yeah, I got a couple things. Let's start with your expenses at your meeting, sir. It's called the League of Cities. We all have to go there. You have a choice. You can go to Sacramento or Long Beach. The first year I went to Long Beach. I think it was roughly $1,000. I was there for 4 or 5 days. The second time, Michael Rock was the city manager, took Diane Ratton, Epperson, and myself. He put us at the Westin St. Francis. I think it cost about 10 grand for each one of us to go there. Flights and everything. It was absolutely ridiculous. Last time I went, I took Chief Alfred with me. We went down, found the least expensive hotel we could. And we paid for our own stuff. We never got reimbursed and that is fine. So to say that Jody spent a couple $100 is absolute crap when Diane Ratton, Epperson, and myself and Rock that one time probably spent $25,000, $30,000 down there. And the booze, just so you know, they don't buy booze. That's what all the vendors are, like Perk and Wildan and all them. They're the ones that buy you the food and the booze. That's how that works. Second thing is, the last meeting I did recuse myself and I finally got to sit and watch the meeting. And what I saw was a absolute bunch of lies. The first one I'll bring up is they said U.S. Mines has never said I'm talking.
Do not interrupt.
Council comments on
Then a
future
representative
agenda
here.
items.
This is why this job is so difficult, folks, because
Peter,
you're talking
can you tell
about
her she can go now?
rules and listen.
You can leave now.
Mr. Varinsky.
Here's the door.
Stacy, no, Stacy.
Your point of order is it's off topic and beyond council member comments.
Correct. Bring it back to the agenda.
It goes
These are
to the chair if this is beyond the scope of council member comments.
US Mines had a representative, the CEO was there.
Stop, Stacy.
We have a point of order.
If we could get a denial or.
I did not.
Okay, end the meeting and keep the microphone on and I'll tell you all the lies and what really happened.
The chair can recognize Mr. Rhodes.
I am recognizing Mr. Rhodes.
Recognize Mr. Rhodes.
And I'm asking for no interruptions for the
Wow.
500th time.
It's true, the tape keeps rolling.
The CEO of US Mines, which also is the owner of Signal Hill Oil Company, which is one of the biggest oil companies in California, sat right here in the audience 3 months ago and got up and said, we don't want that water. We're doing it as a favor. It's costing US Mines tons of money for that water because it ain't just normal water. We have processing systems out there can take it and handle it. The fourth thing is, just so everyone knows,
It is a conflict of
the
interest.
pipeline.
Just
that we went-
to be advised that you are conflicted out of the topic, so just
That's fine.
be careful.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay.
Well, if you want to know the rest of it, talk to me.
Please, for the love, just do this. You know what? I don't, I'm telling you, this is quite an evening. Appreciate the pride. I have something to say. And I'd like to thank the Rotary, Duxton, for their amazing crab feed they recently had. And this weekend is Ducks Unlimited. They're going to have a fundraiser on the 21st, Saturday, prime rib. Native Sons, I believe, is going to be cooking that. Then the following day, the 28th, the Native Sons is going to have their annual crab feed. I hope you can join. They're sold out. All these events are sold out. Appreciate everybody for showing up, raising money for these outstanding organizations to spend it in this community. Okay, so for that, I'd like to see if somebody would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is that a second? All those in favor say aye.
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 That one, City Council.